change and the impact of tourism. So in here, tourism is an agent of social change. So bakit kaya nasabi na tourism is an agent of social change? Kasi pag sinabi nating social change, ito yung pagbabago within the society, within the community. At yung mga pagbabago na yan, ang example niyan is yung pagdami ng mga visitors, ng mga turista, yung cross-cultural exchange, yung mga commercial opportunities na yan na nagbibigay or let's say may impact sa well-being ng mga tao sa community. At syempre, yung social change na yan at yung mga impact sa tourism na yan, it has a positive side also. Number one dyan, di ba, yung mga job and income generation. Nakakapag-create tayo ng trabaho para sa nakararaming tao. Improve infrastructure. Increase government revenue. Pati yung standard of living ng mga tao is nai-improve within the tourism destination areas. Ibig sabihin, yung mga indigenous people na yan, yung mga local community or yung host community, nag-i-improve din yung kanilang standard of living. Of course, also yung mga role and social status ng mga kababaihan. Because nowadays, nabibigyan na sila ng boses. Kumbaga, meron na silang authority para magkaroon ng position within the community or society. And of course, yung mga local residents, they are taking pride, they are taking honor dahil sa pagbisita ng mga iba't ibang turista sa lugar nila. So those are the positive impacts of tourism. So in 1997, Tourism Leaders Meeting organized by UNWTO summarizes concerns about social change resulting from both economic development and tourism demonstration effect. So, ano ba yung sinasabi natin na demonstration effect? So, before na pag-aralan na natin to, that demonstration effect is how host community imitates and adopt the behavior and appearance of the visitors. Kaya nga demonstration. Kung ano yung pinapakita ng mga local visitors, kung ano yung pinapakita ng mga turista, within the host community is pwedeng ma-adapt ng mga tao within the host community. Or vice versa. Kung ano yung culture ng mga local communities doon, ng mga taong naninirahan doon, is pwede din ma-adapt ng mga turista. So in here, we have the image of the destination. So alam naman natin that when we say image of the destination, papasok talaga yung term na marketing. At yung marketing is one of the very important components of tourism. And as we all know, image is also the important aspect of tourism development. Kasi yung image, yung pagkakakilala sa destination na yan is hindi dapat masira. At para hindi masira yon, yung government mismo as a public service, they are the one who is involved in deciding kung paano nila ipoportray or ipopromote yung particular country or destination. Next one is exploitation. Of course, pag sinabi nating exploitation, ito yung kasiraan. Dahil nga merong demonstration effect na tinatawag, pwedeng magkaroon ng sense of envy or pagkainggit between the local people dahil sa appearance at lifestyle ng mga foreigners. So, pwedeng magkaroon ng discrimination, pwedeng magkaroon ng inggit yung mga turista, or let's say, rather yung mga local community, yung mga taong naninirahan doon, towards sa physical appearances ng iba't ibang mga turista. Cultural deterioration. So, dito naman sinasabi natin is yung pagkasira, di ba, ng culture ng isang community or ng isang bansa. So, ang challenge natin dito is yung host country to maintain its tradition and values when meeting the expectation of visitors. So, para maiwasan natin yung deterioration o yung kasiraan ng culture ng isang lugar, kailangan talaga i-maintain natin yung tradition and values. hindi natin baguhin because of the social changes na nagaganap sa mundo. So next one is capacity consideration. So dito naman, we have to increase the capacity to accommodate guests that could lead to substantial life changes for natives. So, syempre kapag tayo, nag-increase tayo nag-increase, kumbaga in-accommodate natin ang in-accommodate itong mga turista na to, baka naman mamaya, maapektuhan na yung mga taong nakatira doon. Baka naman masira na yung lugar na meron sila because hindi na natin nakokontrol yung dami ng turista. Di ba parang ganun yung nangyari sa Boracay? Parang ganun din yung nangyayari sa Baguio kapag summer season. Sa sobrang daming turista, hindi na natin napipigilan yung dami ng kalat. At pag dumami yung kalat, hindi na ayos mabuti, walang proper waste disposal, naapektuhan yung mga taong nakatira doon. So kaya nga sinasabi natin dyan, we need to maintain yung capacity. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na carrying capacity theory. So next one is estrangement. So dito naman sa estrangement na sinasabi natin dito is that there might be a feeling of estrangement that may arise and lead to serious dissatisfaction and even open hostility towards tourists when luxury resorts and enclaves are created separating local populations from foreign visitors. So sa estrangement na sinasabi natin dito is pwedeng magkaroon ng separation or division. Because, ayan, nabubulol na si ma'am. Because of the, let's say, changes, yung paglago. Dati, yung mga regular resort and hotels lang. Ngayon, may mga luxury resorts na. Syempre, ang ina-accommodate natin doon, yung mga elite class of people, yung mga mayayaman na tao. So, pwedeng magkaroon ng, let's say, strange feeling. Pwedeng magkaroon ng envy, or let's say, pwedeng magkaroon ng awkwardness with regards doon sa mga local community versus doon sa mga nag-ooperate under mga luxury resorts or establishments. So, syempre, yung mga indigenous people, they are not used to that kind of lifestyle or sa ganong klaseng pamumuhay. So, pwedeng magkaroon ng separation, pagkalayo, or pagkakahati-hati, or division. Host-guest relationship. So, dito naman sinasabi natin that most visitors have little or no appreciation of the local culture. Bibihira lang talaga yung mga turista na kapag nagpunta sila sa isang lugar, they're going to appreciate yung culture na meron doon. Diba? Yung re-respetuhin nila, they have to make sure na may matututunan sila bago umalis sa lugar na yon. Kumbaga, nakikisalamuha sila sa mga tao within the area. And most likely, ang nagiging problema talaga natin dito is yung tinatawag natin na language barrier. So, alam naman natin, when we go to a, let's say, international countries at hindi natin alam yung lengguwahe na sinasalita nila, so medyo nahihirapan tayo na makapag-interact with them. And alam naman natin that ang pinagmumulan talaga ng mga alitan is yung tinatawag na miscommunication or yung hindi pagkakaintindihan or misunderstanding rather. So, sharing benefits and costs. So, dito naman sinasabi that although tourism provides many positive impacts, host destination absorbs its negative impacts. Yes, maraming mga positive side ang tourism, pero ang nangyayari, yung mismong lugar na pinuntahan natin, yung mismong host destination, sila yung nakakatanggap o nakaka-receive ng negative impact. Bakit? Kapag hindi tayo naging responsible traveler. Pag hindi tayo naging responsible traveler at wala tayong alam with regards sa lugar na pinupuntahan natin, so magkakaroon talaga ng negative impacts. At pag nangyari yon, hindi na nila magagawa na mag-accommodate ng napakaraming turista because nadala na sila. At pag nangyari pa yon is magkakaroon ng resentment, bitterness, at hostility could arise. So yung hostility, ito yung sinasabi natin na conflict or even magkaroon pa ng terrorism or ng war. So those are the social change that results from both economic development and tourism demonstration effects. So taking into account the cultural, economic, and physical context of each case, the agenda included the following actions. So pwede tayong makipag-participate, ayan, community participation in tourism development planning, community tourism awareness campaigns, human resource development with regards to our employees, di ba? So yung tamang salary, yung tamang benefits is dapat makuha nila whether they are working in hospitality or tourism industry, whether they are helping sa government. So distribution of tourism benefits, entrepreneurial initiatives, image building, providing better legal frameworks for tourism. Ayan, we have to provide mga rules, regulations, mga tamang legislation with regards sa pag-operate natin ng mga tourism destination areas. And of course, recognizing women's rights. So in here we have the definition of culture. Culture is all the beliefs, customs, and knowledge acquired, shared, and passed on by the social group. So, but culture signifies a social invention. It is transmitted by learning, not by genetics. So, kung napag-aralan nyo na before sa mga early subjects ninyo, that culture is particular or specific in a particular group. Okay? Hindi siya sa isang tao lang. Hindi siya specific sa isang individual. Kung ang personality is specific sa isang tao, ang culture is specific to a group. Ibig sabihin, sinasabi nga natin dyan, it is acquired, shared, and passed on a social group. Ito yung grupo ng mga tao na they are part of the indigenous people. Ito yung grupo ng mga tao na ang religion nila is Catholic, sila is Hinduism, sila is Buddhism. So, ibig sabihin, nahahati-hati. So, nahahati siya according to a social group. So, how are we going to preserve the cultural heritage? So, sabi dyan, some values of tourism were found in authentic cultural resources. When we say authentic, it is original, it is unique. Landscape and cultural artifacts establish an identity for local population. So ano ba yung cultural artifacts na sinasabi natin? Ito yung mga gawa ng tao na kung saan nagbibigay ng information tungkol sa culture or tungkol sa tao na gumawa nun or tungkol sa gamit ng ginawa nila na bagay. So, ibig sabihin, it serves as their identity or pagkakakilala sa lugar. Next one is conserving cultural relics has its own intrinsic value. So, yung mga cultural relics na sinasabi natin dito is ito yung mga objects or sites, okay, na related sa revolution, sa history, sa mga memorial buildings na yan, sa mga sites ng ating mga ancestors, yung mga architectural structures, yung mga caves, yung mga temples, yung mga stone carvings, na lahat ng yun is nakadesignate sa isang site. At yun is pinoprotektahan because they have their own historical and cultural value. So yun si cultural relics. So tourism contributes to the emergence of the new global culture. With rising levels of education, tourists have increased expectations, and broadening of cultural experience of tourists could increase mutual understanding and improve guest relations. So, those are the ways na pwede natin ma-preserve ang ating cultural heritage. So, as early as 1972, the Conference of United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization or UNESCO passed the World Heritage Convention for protecting the cultural and natural heritage of the world. So ano ba yung sinasabi natin dyan about UNESCO? Okay? So si UNESCO, ang kanilang ginagawa is they are developing database that is useful for the information of tourists and experts, and thereby they promote the protection of historical sites around the world. particularly in times of armed conflict. So, ang World Heritage Cities Organization, ang kanilang headquarter is nasa Quebec, Canada. So, si World Heritage Convention is meron siyang 180 cities na nakalista sa World Heritage Cities and more than 700 sites. So, you can visit that sa UNESCO webpage. So, protecting, preserving, and enhancing environmental and cultural resources are essential for sustainable tourism. Bakit importante that we protect, we preserve, and we enhance the environment and our cultural resources? Because lahat ng forms ng tourism development nakadepende kung paano natin sila i-maintain, kung paano natin sila poprotektahan, kung paano natin sila ipe-preserve. At ang nangyayari kapag doon is, we need to improve the quality of the tourism product. And how are we going to improve those tourism products? Ayan, nakalagay na dyan. We need to protect, we need to preserve, and we need to enhance yung ating mga resources. So next one is controlling negative impacts and ensuring sustainability. So hindi naman talaga mawawala sa isang tourism industry na magkaroon ng mga negative impacts. So dahil kanina nabanggit natin ano yung mga positive impacts ng tourism, meron din naman po talagang mga negative impacts. At yung negative impacts na yan at positive impacts na yan, it should be balanced. Dapat magkaroon tayo ng balanse para nang sa ganun, ma-achieve natin na yung mga tao within the community is hindi maapektuhan. Lalong-lalo na yung mga living organisms. So there are three basic subjects to be addressed with regards to the controlling of the negative impacts and ensuring sustainability. So sinasabi dyan, conservation of important natural areas and ecosystems, conservation of archaeological and historic sites. So when we say archaeological or archaeology, it is the scientific study of the material remains of the past human life and activities. So yung pag-aaral sa mga human remains at sa mga naging activities noong unang panahon pa o noong mga sinaunang panahon. And then, maintaining or improving environmental quality and preventing pollution. So, syempre, ang pollution, napakaraming klase niyan. Noise pollution, air pollution, water pollution, land pollution. Kung lahat ng yon is hindi natin ma-maintain, hindi natin maiaayos, so, ang mangyayari, wala na tayong lugar na matitirhan sa mga susunod pang panahon. Kaya nga, di ba sinasabi natin, hindi man natin nakikita yung effect ngayon, pero what if maranasan to ng mga future generations? So, sila yung mas kawawa. Kaya nga, tayo yung in charge para pangalagaan yung ating Mother Earth and si Mother Nature. So, what are the particular environmental issues to be resolved? Are the following. So, ito daw yung mga environmental issues na dapat talaga natin na solusyonan. So, ano-ano sila? So, we have here water pollution. Ayan. Internal combustion engines. So, yung sinasabi natin dyan is nanggagaling siya sa mga, let's say, air pollution. So, yung internal combustion engines is caused by the air pollution. At itong pollution na to is hindi nakakatulong sa ating kalusugan, lalong-lalo na sa mga plants, sa mga animals, sa lahat ng living organisms. Number 3 is uncontrolled disposal of solid and untreated sanitary waste. So, particularly in tourism destination area. So, ang nangyayari dito, nagkakaroon ng serious health hazard. Kasi yung pagtapon ng basura is hindi natin naisasaayos. So, may effect yun sa kalusugan din natin. Number 4 is deforestation. o yung excessive tree cutting, masyadong pagpuputol ng mga puno. Ang nangyayari dyan is, syempre, although kailangan natin na mag-produce ng lumber and firewood, pero kapag dumating na yung, let's say, pagbagyo, 'di ba? Pagbaha, so wala nang ma-absorb yung ating lupa. Wala na kasi yung mga trees, yung mga puno na yan because of the excessive tree cutting or yung tinatawag nga natin na illegal logging. Number 5 is noise pollution. So, saan nanggagaling yan? Siyempre, yung mga aircraft, ayan, yung mga aircraft na nagliliparan, and then yung mga, let's say, sa urban areas, yung excessive traffic noise, yung tunog ng mga sasakyan, poor facility design, or yung HVAC system na tinatawag natin, nagkukos lahat sila ng distraction and even stress sa mga tao na nakapaligid dun sa lugar. Next one is vehicular and pedestrian traffic congestion. So, syempre, kapag may traffic, alam naman natin, it causes delay, frustration, and discomfort, and even waste of time and waste of fuel. Next one is the visual pollution of urban and natural landscape. So, bakit? It is caused by human neglect. Isinasaalang-alang natin, hindi natin pinapansin yung mga nangyayari, yung itsura ng ating surroundings. Halimbawa, sa urban area, alam na natin na bawal magkalat, nagkakalat pa tayo. Halimbawa, nasa rural areas tayo, alam naman natin, pag sa rural areas, talagang they are very civilized, simple lang yung pamumuhay, they are more of agriculture. So, kung sisirain natin yung mga yun, magkakaroon talaga ng tinatawag na visual pollution. Kumbaga, yung paningin natin sa paligid natin is hindi na maayos because of the damage and yung mga nangyayaring pagkasira ng ating natural resources or natural landscapes. Number 8 is haphazard destruction of the environment. So, dito naman is yung hindi magandang pagpaplano or let's say improper location, hindi na isaayos ng tama yung lokasyon or let's say yung pagpaplano kung saan ba ilolocate itong roads na to, itong dam na to, yung mga infrastructures na ito. Yung mga illegal minings na yan na nagkakaroon ng hindi magandang marka sa ating environment. And the last one is ecological disasters. So, syempre, affected dito si ecosystem. So, increase tourist spending. So, how can we increase tourist spending? So, sabi nga dyan, tourists usually pay a minimum change for gaining entrance to government-owned and operated national parks and historic places. Revenues usually go directly to the national agency that administers such places. Local government treasurers do not see much, if any, of the income from admission. So, sinasabi natin dito, ang mga turista, they are willing to pay. They are willing to pay, they are willing to, let's say, use their disposable income o yung pera nila na inilaan nila for that kind of tour or sa pagta-travel nila. Lalong-lalo na pag may nakikita sila na something na makakapagpa-stay pa sa kanila sa lugar na yon. Kung maraming mga attractions, maraming mga tourism products, maraming mga pwedeng puntahan, maraming mga, let's say, restaurants, maraming mga delicacies, cuisines, or culture or heritage na pwedeng i-offer doon sa lugar na yon, they are willing to spend. So, sinasabi natin dito that there is also a regional development na tinatawag. So, it broadens the sphere of influence that tourist destination has over its trade area. So, spending or spreading the benefits in proportion to revenues generated by tourism depends on the national policy followed for sustainable development. So, syempre, tayo, kahit nasa region tayo, kahit ang ginagawa nating tourism development plan is for the region, we still need to follow, we still need to, let's say, align our patterns or align our plans sa national development or sa national policy. Para sa ganun is hindi magkaroon ng, let's say, pagkalito with regards sa mga programs or sa pagpaplano. So dito sinasabi din, katulad ng nabanggit natin kanina, yung mga policy options. Yung you have to address environmental concerns, you have to place high priority sa economic growth, and higher priority also sa pag-maintain and restore ng ating environment. So those policies are also involved in the regional development plan. So to spread the benefits of tourism for poverty and reduction and income distribution, it is necessary to consider the following. Number 1, tourism is an export industry. So alam naman na natin yan, that tourists must travel to a destination para ma-consume nila, para ma-experience nila yung tourism product. They need to go sa lugar na yon para ma-experience nila lahat ng yun. And of course, it has something to do also with the local businesses na meron sa area. Number 2 is employment in tourism. So sinasabi natin dyan that since tourism is a service industry, of course, it requires a long hours of work. So medyo kakaunti yung pahinga natin because alam naman natin ang ino-offer natin is services. And then, tourism has the best potential for poverty alleviation. So sinasabi kasi natin dito that tourism does not face tariff or non-tariff barriers in countries of origin or most international tourists. So wala naman kasi tayong masyadong law or let's say hindi naman masyadong strict si tourism with regards sa tariff or yung taripa na tinatawag natin. Number 4 is tourism may use assets that have limited economic value. So dito, ano yung mga assets na to? So ito yung mga culture, archaeological, historical sites, mga mountains, mga scenic views. At itong mga assets na to is what we call tourism product na sinasabi natin na it is unique, na hindi natin matatagpuan sa ibang lugar. Kung sa atin may Boracay, sa ibang lugar walang Boracay. So ito is yung yaman ng isang bansa na hindi natin makikita sa ibang lugar. Na ang nakakagamit dito, ang nakakapag-consume dito is yung mga turista. At syempre, sabi nga dyan, limited. So limited lang sila at dahil limited lang sila, we need to take care of them properly. Tourism has a wide variety of contributing businesses. And of course, international tourism is often the primary focus of tourism development. Kasi alam naman natin na doble or triple din yung income generation or let's say yung economic growth na naidudulot kapag meron din talagang international tourism. Let's say for example, dito sa bansa natin, the more na madaming mga foreigners ang nagpupunta dito, 'di ba? Maraming mga bumibisita at some of them are not just a tourist na some of them pwedeng mag-invest, 'di ba? Pwedeng mag-invest ng business dito sa ating bansa. So nakakatulong din siya to alleviate para maiwasan or ma-lessen yung poverty sa bansa. So tourists are willing to stay longer in the destination when there is more to do and see. They modify their schedule and visit other attractions in the vicinity. This leads to tours and more tourist spending. So katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, syempre, tayo naman kung may pera tayo, 'di ba? We are willing na maglibot ng maglibot. We are willing na mag-spend ng money para lang makita itong particular destination na ito. So ganun din yung mga turista. They are willing to stay longer as long as they have their own disposable income. So regional economic integration by tourism. So it says here that tourism is a complex industry. So bakit sinabing complex? It is broad. It composed of many parts. So sinasabi dyan that its composition is seldom the same from one destination to another or from one region or country to another. this complexity results in its uniqueness. So it is very unique. Lahat ng mga destination, lahat ng mga natural resources na meron tayo dito sa Pilipinas, it is unique from other country. Kaya nga tayo pinupuntahan dito ng mga turista, it's because aside na unique yung ating mga tourist destinations na yan, we as Filipinos are also unique because we are hospitable, di ba? Kayang-kaya natin silang i-welcome, kayang-kaya natin sila i-entertain, compare sa ibang mga tao sa ibang bansa na they have their own way kung paano nila i-accommodate yung mga guests. So, encouraging community participation and entrepreneurship. So, when community participation and entrepreneurship are needed for building a tourism project, leaders make it possible. Endorsement of leadership is essential for raising awareness and motivating entrepreneurship. So, syempre, dahil ang turismo is about service industry, we are also encouraging yung mga entrepreneurs, di ba, yung mga small businessman na yan, na mag-take charge din sila, di ba, makipag-contribute din sila, makipag-participate din sila sa pag-create natin ng tourism development plan. Para nang sa ganon, sabi nga natin dyan, leaders make it possible. So, kung may tatayong leader, kung may tatayong, let's say, mga tao na magkukusa para tulungan ang tourism industry, so why not, diba? So, sabi nga natin, the measure of success is the ability to lift the community out of poverty and dependence on government handouts. So, makikita natin na naging successful yung plano natin if iiwasan or let's say nababawasan rather yung kahirapan sa ating bansa. Kasi sino ba naman ang gusto na nakikita yung kapwa nila, kababayan na naghihirap? So, next one is the opportunities for women. So, sinasabi lang natin dito that women nowadays are being welcomed sa kahit sa anong larangan ng trabaho. So, sabi nga natin dyan, travel agents, airline clerks, flight attendants, mga pilots, housekeepers, and so on, talagang may mga babae na din na nagtatrabaho ng mga ganong klaseng trabaho. Dahil nga sinasabi natin that nowadays, hindi lang naman lalaki ang nag-i-stand out. Kung hindi lang lalaki, syempre andyan din ang mga kababaihan. At dahil naging masyado na tayong modernized, andyan na din yung mga LGBTQ community. At syempre, yung mga opportunities for women na yan is nakasaad din sa Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Next one is the crime and terrorism. So, kung may mga positive impacts, meron ding negative. At isa sa mga yon is yung crime and terrorism. So, yung mga krimen at yung mga terorismo na talaga namang nangyayari din even sa tourism industry. So, number one dyan is yung drug trafficking. Diba? Medyo nakakatakot. It is one of the worst things that can happen sa tourism at sa mga turista. So, you see, drug trafficking, diba? Yung pag-exchange, yung pagbenta ng mga drugs sa community. We also have theft of cultural artifacts. Ayan, yung pagnanakaw ng mga sinasabi natin na gawa ng mga tao na merong significance with regards to their culture. So, syempre, it is not permitted na lumabas lahat ng artifacts sa country. Kumbaga, hindi natin sila pwedeng ilabas sa sarili nilang bansa. Kasi pagka ganon, magkakaroon ng kaso, magkakaroon ng, let's say, paglabag sa batas ng particular country na yon. Tourists turning to local black markets. Ayan. So, sa local black markets, ito yung pag-exchange ng mga pera, diba? Yung mga questionable goods such as yung mga pornographic materials, yung mga prohibited na sinasaad sa batas. So, bribery, ayan. So, we are offering something in return for money or we are bribing someone na bigyan ng pera kapalit ng ganitong klaseng mga services. Scam setups to extort money. Ayan, so hindi maiiwasan din sa tourism industry yung tinatawag na scam. Lalong-lalo na pag niloloko natin yung mga turista, yung mga foreigners, na masyado nating minamahalan yung mga presyo ng mga tourism products pagdating sa kanila. So medyo hindi rin siya okay. And then prostitution, ayan, world's oldest profession. At dahil may prostitution, of course, there is also a problem with regards sa AIDS. Number 8 is trademark and copyright infractions. Yung pagbebenta natin ng mga copyrighted or let's say ng mga example niyan, yung mga pinipirata na mga movie videos, mga CDs, na sometimes yung mga turista or even yung mga military personnel pa nga yung nagbebenta. And number 9, problems of personal security. So, hindi natin alam sa ibang lugar, sa ibang bansa, sa ibang mga tourist destination, laganap yung robbery, laganap, let's say, yung paggamit ng mga lethal weapons na hindi makakatulong sa mismong host community at lalo na hindi safe para sa kanila at sa mga turista. So, those are the examples of crime and terrorism within tourism industry. So the issues related to promoting and practicing sustainable tourism do not end with a few examples in this chapter. Tourism development planners from both private and public sector will have to consider all of the opportunities and impediments to the planning and growth of sustainable tourism in their respective areas. So sa dami-dami ng pinag-usapan natin nowadays, hindi natin makakamit yung sustainable tourism na yan without the collaboration of the government and the private sector. So, private and public sector should collaborate, coordinate, and partnered with each other para nang sa ganon is ma-alleviate natin lahat ng mga negative impacts at negative circumstances sa ating bansa. So, that concludes our lesson for today, which is about practicing sustainable tourism development. So thank you so much for listening, and if you missed some points, feel free to rewind or even replay this lesson video. Thank you so much and have a good day.